In this video, I'm going to go over the most overlooked muscle that causes lower back pain. Stay tuned. Hey everyone, Dr. Rowe coming to you from SpineCare in St. Joseph, Michigan. In this video, we're going to focus on the most overlooked muscle when it comes to lower back pain, and this muscle would be the multifidus. If you're unfamiliar with it, it is a muscle that runs off to the side of the spine, pretty much the whole length of the spine, and when it becomes strained and inflamed, it can cause a lot of deep pain across the lower back that can even radiate towards the buttocks. Why this muscle is so important is because it works with other muscles across the lower back to help build stability around the spine. If this muscle weakens over time, what it will do is force the other muscles to compensate, leading to spinal instability, muscle strain, and eventual pain. In fact, one study showed people with chronic lower back pain, 80% of them had direct weakness in the multifidus muscle. So it's really important that we don't overlook this muscle. To make getting relief easy, I'm going to show 2 strengthening exercises that you can use daily. And I'm also going to show a really good way to help keep the muscle loose. Each exercise works just a little bit differently. To get the best results, go through them all and use what gives you the most relief. With that being said, let's get started. Let's begin by going over a couple exercises that you can do daily to help strengthen the multifidus. This first one is called the Superman, and you can do this one in bed or on a floor, but you might find that it's a little bit easier to do on a floor. So the Superman you can do in 3 separate steps, with the first step being the easiest. So I would start with this one, progress into it when you feel ready. Let's start off on our stomach and slide forward, if you're in bed, to the point where your shoulders and head are off the edge. What you're going to do from here is try to isolate the multifidus muscle. To be able to do that, imagine somebody poking you in your stomach, how you tense up. Mimic that, because what you're going to notice is the more that you tense those core muscles in the front, the more that you're going to feel the curve of your lower back start to straighten. Just do that lightly to the point where you feel like the curve is starting to straighten and the muscles in the lower back are starting to tense up. From here, we're going to straighten our arms off to our side like this, have our palms facing towards the ceiling. Now, what you want to do is slowly lift your head, shoulders, and chest upward like this, while also pressing your palms upward towards the ceiling. When you do this, you're really going to feel a deep activation of the muscles in the lower back. Hold this one comfortably for about 3 to 5 seconds. You're going to relax and then repeat this 10 to 15 times. And with each repetition, try to build into it just a little bit more. If it does feel like you have a little bit more energy, try to throw in another set or 2. So to take this one to the next level, what you can do is also lift your feet upward at the same time. So straighten your legs and then lift your heels upward towards the ceiling, because it's really going to cause a deep activation of those muscles in the lower back. So if this one feels like it's a little bit too easy, you can now move on to the second way to do the Superman. It's pretty similar. What you're going to do this time around, though, is just cross your arms over just like this, and I like to put my arms right underneath my chin. And then from here, the movement is the same, but I'm just going to try to wing my elbows upward towards the ceiling as much as I can. This one, you're going to feel a lot more activation into the lower back, so only go to your comfort level. But the last way to do it is the full Superman, and this one is definitely going to be the most challenging. What you're going to do is put your arms straight out in front of you like this, kind of like Superman flying, and you're just going to lift the back of your hand right here upward towards the ceiling as much as you can. But go through all 3 of these movements. Try to do them for about 10 to 15 repetitions. And again, challenge yourself to throw in another set or 2. This next multifidus strengthening exercise is a really good one because it's also going to help target a lot of muscles across the core and the lower back. What we're going to do is start on a floor on all fours just like this. And if you do have a lot of knee pain or sensitivity, make sure to grab a towel to place underneath them for extra comfort. The first movement that we're going to do is called the bear plank. Let's start by isolating and activating the multifidus muscle. So what I'm going to do is mimic, just like that first exercise, somebody really poking me in my stomach and tightening and bracing my core. On this video, you can see as I do this how my lower back straightens just a little bit. So you just want to do enough to the point where you're feeling the muscles in the lower back tense up and that curve straightens slightly. We're going to hold this position during the exercise. So the first movement, what I'm going to do is have my legs roughly in line with my hips, and I'm going to keep one knee bent at 90 degrees, and I'm just going to lift that knee straight upward towards the ceiling. It's almost kind of like trying to drive my butt cheeks straight up towards the ceiling, but focusing on moving through my hips and my lower back. As you do this, you're going to feel a really good activation across the core and the lower back. Hold this one comfortably for 3 to 5 seconds. You're going to release it, and then you're going to repeat this on the other side. Do this one 10 to 15 times on both sides, and with each repetition, try to build into it a little bit more. Afterwards, see how you feel. If it feels like you have a little bit more energy, challenge yourself by throwing in another set or 2. So for most people, the bear plank is going to be pretty easy. So if you would like to take it to the next level, you can do what is called a hydrant. It's very similar. So what we're going to do is keep one knee bent. We're going to get back into our bear plank, lift that knee up just like this. But this time around, we're going to take that knee and swing it upward towards the ceiling as much as we can, also rotating our body with it. Now you know why we call this one the hydrant. But when you lift that knee up, you're going to feel a deep activation into the core and the lower back, and also across the hip. Hold this one comfortably for 3 to 5 seconds. You're going to release it and then repeat this on the other side. Do this one for 10 to 15 repetitions on both sides. So one more movement that you can do to help target the multifidus is by doing what is called a modified bird dog. So for this one, what I'm going to do is take the top of one side's foot and just slide it away from me like this while pointing my toes away at the same time. Just keep it on the floor and slide your toes and feet, or I should say foot, away from you. When you do this, what you're going to feel is a really good stretch form in your calf that works upward towards the back of your thigh, across the hip, but more importantly into the lower back. So keep sliding your foot away from you until you feel it in the lower back. Once you feel that, you're going to hold that and now slowly raise your leg to the point where it's roughly in line with your body. You're again going to feel a very good activation of the core and the lower back muscles. Hold this one for 3 to 5 seconds, release it, and then repeat this on the other side for 10 to 15 repetitions. With all of these movements, you're probably going to find that one is the most challenging. Maybe it just feels really weak, like the hydrant right here. Treat that like your weak link, and at that point throw more repetitions in until it feels like you got a really good workout. So let's switch gears and now focus on a multifidus stretching exercise. This one is perfect to do after the strengthening exercises to keep everything loose and also help avoid soreness. But with this stretch, you can use it throughout the day anytime that you need quick muscle pain and tightness relief. Let's start seated with very good upright posture. Just have your back as straight as possible. You're going to take your knees and just push them outward just to the point where your chest will be able to fit through them. So let's take 2 fingers on both hands, place them right on the back of our head. What you want to do is hook the back of your head and slowly pull your chin towards your chest. But do this one slowly because you're going to feel a really good stretch form from the base of the skull that works towards the upper back. Once you feel it in the upper back, you're going to hold this position and now pull your elbows straight out in front of you. Now round your shoulders and upper back forward like this, lowering your elbows towards the floor. At this point, that stretch is going to move downward throughout the shoulder blades towards the middle back, so kind of right below the shoulder blades. Once you feel that, you're going to hold this position and now really deepen the stretch into the lower back by pivoting forward through your legs, through your lower back. Just lower your elbows towards the floor as much as you can. At this point, it's almost like a full back stretch, but you should really feel it in the lower back. Once you do, hold this one comfortably for 20 to 30 seconds. And during that time period, do nice, slow, controlled breathing. Just let out as much tension as you can. From there, we're going to release this in reverse. So we're going to come up from our lower back first, then our upper back, and then we're just going to relax our neck. I like to do that whole process about 3 to 5 times, and with each repetition trying to build into it a little bit more. But if you would like to take this one to the next level and really target the multifidus a little bit more, this is what you can do. Let's really open our legs up as much as we can. Let's get back into our original stretch, and then from there what I'm going to do is take my elbows and swing them upward like this towards the ceiling, almost kind of like a pendulum. You really want to focus on moving through the waist, through the lower back. You're going to notice it hits the muscles just a little bit differently. Hold this one comfortably for about 3 to 5 seconds, and then you're going to swing towards the other side. Repeat this 5 times on both sides. But go through all of these movements. You're probably going to find that one just hits that tightness, that pain the best. And at that point, I would keep building into that movement over and over again until everything is nice and loose. If the exercises help, please support the channel by giving this video a like and maybe subscribing too. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them below. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks for watching.